All right, it's time for Idol Fancast, and we're going to talk about a little bit what happened yesterday on American Idol, and maybe try to get some people's opinions on what they thought about the vocalist yesterday. So, what's going to do? We do this every Thursday. We try to start about a half hour before the show, live show. We have a few technical difficulties the last couple weeks, and again tonight. So we're getting a little bit of a late start, but I think we got plenty of time. We got 20 minutes to talk about yesterday. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to bring up some information about yesterday. All right, so yesterday we had, let's see, Curtis Finch Jr. is gone home, so we didn't have Curtis. He was eliminated last week. Yesterday we had Amber Holcomb, Angie Miller, Burnell Taylor, Candace Glover, Devin Velez, Janelle Arthur, Cree Harrison, Lazaro Arbos, and Paul Jolley, and not in that order, not necessarily. But I'm going to walk through, and as I said in the beginning of this season, my pick is this year. My pick is the girls, and after last night, I think that I still completely agree with that. There was only one guy last night that I think did good, really, and that was Devin Velez, and actually voted for him. So I hope he does a little bit farther. He did a great job last night, I think, and he is the standout guy for me. I will say Lazaro, with which I have been liking last night, did not do a good job. And he knew he didn't do a good job. You could tell afterward how emotional he was, that he knew he just didn't do a good job. And I think it's coming down to song choice and style. I don't think he's singing a style that he is very comfortable with. He was probably my worst yesterday. Do I think he's going to be eliminated? Probably not. And I don't like calling this the pity vote, but that's basically what I think he's getting right now, and I think that'll continue for a little while longer yet. So, my pick would be from last night. The number one, Angie Miller. Number two would be Cree Harrison. And a very close number three for me would be Candace. It wasn't awesome for me with Candace last night like it's been in the past, but it was still very, very good. And of the guys that are left, Paul Jolley, I think that was probably my most favorite of his songs, and that was last night. So, like I said, Lazaro didn't really cut it. Curtis is already gone. Bernard did good. He didn't do bad. I just don't think he's, in comparison to the girls, very, very good. And I don't think I think he's probably number two, beneath Devin from last night. Like I said, Devin did a really good job. And I think he deserves to stick around a little bit longer. All right. So, as I mentioned before the show actually started recording, we are now, in addition to broadcasting on Ustream Live, we are now on Justin TV, and we are on. Because we're right on my head that quickly. Livestream.com. So we just added these two networks this week. Actually, technically, we added them yesterday, I guess, because we were having some complaints about Ustream dropping, and we were seeing on our side too Ustream hits. And we are also streaming audio right now, but we aren't probably ready to tell anybody that's there yet. So maybe next week. The show is produced afterwards, and when we do this show, we record live and broadcast live, and we even broadcast through the American Idol show. We don't show the show or for video or listen to it. We listen to it, but you can't hear it from us because of copyright reasons. It's not our show. We're just commenting on it, and we can't broadcast that. So during the show, if you're watching us and you're up live, I'm pretty quiet during the actual show. I talk a little bit during each commercial with a little bit of a recap. And that is mainly for people that are listening after the fact or watching after the fact. We've had some people tell us that on Friday morning the podcast has been downloaded, and as they're driving to work, they get the results because they didn't have a chance to watch it the night before, and it kind of gives them a little bit of a blow-by-blow without having to sit down and watch it. That's kind of how what I used to do when I didn't watch the whole show. I would basically Sorry, got distracted there. I would basically just kind of fast forward to get to the end or the results and kind of skip over the people that had come in and sing. And that kind of stuff wasn't really interesting to me. And I got back an hour. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do by summarizing things like that as well. And they can, fast forward whatever they need to do to the podcast and, just save some time and do it while driving. So if you're watching the show live tonight and you download it, you're going to see that a lot of things were cut out because there's just a lot of empty space during the show. That's all that is. All right, so we are currently, looks like about 15 minutes from the start of the live show. If you are watching or listening live, I do encourage you to go to tech-zen.tv and click on the live link at the top and go to the chat room. A lot of people aren't comfortable coming into a hangout and talking to us, but we would love to have you do that. We will put you live on the air. You can talk back and forth with us and give us your opinion on what you thought of the performances last night. Or you can just come to the chat room and we'll just discuss it in the chat room with you live on the air the same way. It works just as well either way. We definitely like to hear from you though if you're interested in giving us a call and on the Google Hangout, and we will put you on the air and we'll talk back and forth a little bit and just get your opinion. I mean, we really want your opinion, and where the opinion really comes in though is after the show, because your favorite person might have been eliminated and you want to vent. And that's fine. That's what we're here for. Let it out. America sometimes votes not the way you think they should vote. And I've been lucky so far. The last couple of weeks, I have done my predictions, and I've been really good. I haven't done predictions for today. I will tell you that I think Lazaro is in the danger zone, although I do not think he's going to be let go. I think he's going to get the vote. And I don't like calling it the pity vote because I don't think that's what it is, but it is. That sounds just a bit wrong to me to call it a pity vote, but I really think that's what's going to happen. I'm probably still hoping Paul, although like I said, Paul did good this week. I think this is probably the best song that he's done since he's been here. Like I mentioned the last 2 weeks, I don't think he should have been in the top 10 at all. So he's gotten farther than what I think he really should have gotten. And it may just be time for him to go. I actually thought last week he should have been the one that went home. I was a little concerned with the bottom two. Devin has potential, and I don't know what I would have thought. My original prediction was Devin was going to go far, and that was because of the Spanish songs. I think that's a whole demographic that American Idol hasn't attacked before, and kind of like the cute boys get the girl votes, I kind of thought maybe that the Spanish community would stand behind that. So I was obviously wrong with that one. I would think my top three this week. Well, my top one is Angie Miller. She did another incredible. She's just an all-around show person. So, she's still my pick to win the whole thing. Her or Cree. Cree is a very warm. So I would think in my top three would be Angie and Cree for sure. And then I'm teetering on between Candace and Devin. I really like Devin. I think he does a great job. I think he has great potential. So, but Candace, again, exactly the same. Her song last night was pretty impressive as well. So, we'll have to see what happens tonight. And let's see if I got any other news. I don't know if, I'm actually sharing this. Let me go turn the sharing on for this, because I can bring this up and you can see what I'm looking at. And if you don't have an iPad, you probably haven't seen this, but the iPad app for American Idol this year is really, really incredible. Let me turn the iPad into the screen up here. Come on, there you go. It's a little slow, but it is up now. All right, let me take this off to the side so I can get to the switching and still see if anybody comes into the Hangout. Sorry, squirrel. No, not really. I want to do some audio adjustment before I brought this up. So this is the iPad app, and it actually is pretty nice. This this is the best iPad app they've had to do anything with American Idol this year. And you can see this is the top 10. I was trying to filter by top 9, but they didn't break it out like that. They only have the top 10. But you can see right here it says that Curtis Finch has been eliminated, so that makes it a little bit easier. But you can click on these and you can get more information about them. Their photo strip information, you can share, make it a favorite, things like that. You can't really scroll up on this page. There are some photos and there's social. I didn't see that last week. Yeah, you can see photos. And you can star them, see which ones you like. Although, it doesn't make sense they got Lazaro in this one. That's not Paul Jolley. That's Lazaro. So, yeah, that's kind of weird. There's another one with Lazaro. And no Paul in the photo. Somebody just didn't realize it, I guess. That's kind of funny. So anyways, you can go into the app and you can get a lot of information. Let me go back out of Paul. Here, I can say this is my number 1 pick for the girls this year. Okay, so yeah, you can see they have different photos from different things. There's gonna be more edited in here all the time. But you can get through. You can get a lot of information. Let's see, what was that? By the way, what I was distracted by was I turned on the sound to the Google Hangout so I could tell somebody to come in, which somebody just came in and they left that quick. So I guess they're not really interested in hanging around. I tried something different with the Hangouts this week. I actually made them public, which means I'm not broadcasting live on YouTube this week. But saying that, I think that sorry, squirrel again. There was another squirrel. I think that the new way we're doing our broadcast, we can actually broadcast on YouTube at the same time we do the other networks as well. So by next week, maybe we'll have that figured out. I just hadn't had a chance to figure it out for this week. All right, so there. Let's see what's in the iPad app while I'm here. That's the fan choice, which we got that result last night too. I forgot all about that. We last night they said Aubrey was the one that won, which is good because the other choices was weird. That in itself that he was even brought back. So I kind of thought Aubrey had the lock, unless America just wanted to make a cruel joke on somebody. So that was that. There's things about the judges. So as some of you know, I've already made comments about some of the judges. They did commenting last night slightly different than before because they, instead of starting with Keith Urban every time, they actually were going down the line. So Keith would do one, Nikki would do the next one, Randy do the next one, Mariah do the next one. So I thought when I saw this, maybe part of the reason they were doing that was because by the time you got to Mariah Carey, there wasn't really much more to say. Everybody had said it, and all you can do is say, yeah, I agree. And she was just going off and saying weird things. However, last night disproved that. Her comments still were not very constructive, musically constructive, at least. Even though she was even the first judge in the process. So my theory with that one went out the window as well. I like Mariah Carey. I've read some things about her and her family life and things like that, and I think she's a really good person. But her comments on American Idol are just out there. And of course you have the weird comments out of Nicki Minaj, which I haven't quite figured out Nicki Minaj yet at all. So yeah, that's a whole different thing right there. And then Keith Urban and Randy Jackson are probably the two most solid judges as far as giving real advice. And I think ultimately Nicki Minaj does give solid advice after she gets past the initial weirdness of her comments. So all right, so what else do we have in here? We can go through this app while we're waiting. Let's go back to home. I'll tell you how many seconds. We got 6 minutes and 42 seconds. And I actually have to step out for about 30 seconds to go change the channel on the TV because I just realized I'm not watching Fox, which would be why I'm not seeing Big Bang Theory and getting more squirrel moments there. So give me about the 30 seconds. I'm going to mute the mic and I'll be right back. adding a new person. This is the first time Michelle's been on the show. So, we have multiple comments tonight. Any comments about last night?
Not right now.
Not right now? Good, bad, ugly, whatever?
The girls are better than the boys this year.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. Let's see. I tried something different with the Hangout this week. I made it public instead of the broadcast on YouTube thing.
This is a sacrifice for me tonight because the NCAA basketball tournament's on.
Well, it's American Idol or basketball. Which one do you want?
That's a tough choice. I think this might end before some of the first round games tonight. So.
Oh, well, I can't really give you another channel to watch.
I have my phone to check scores.
Oh, okay. So I guess they can tell who the sports person is in the family, right? Because it's not me. So who are your top 3 picks for last night?
I liked Angie. And it's like Candace.
Candace Glover?
Yep.
What do you think about Cree?
I think Janelle did better than Cree last night. I think Cree was a little under the weather, and I think Janelle ended strong. Amber had a rough night last night. She may be in the bottom 3 with 2 of the boys. I don't know.
Which 2 boys?
Lazaro and Paul, I think.
Do you think Lazaro will make the bottom?
He should.
I know he should, but you think he will?
I don't know. From a vocal standpoint, he was the
worst last night, yeah.
Yeah. And it's not like it was just one bad week. It was last week's wasn't all that great either. So.
Right, he shouldn't have been at 4 last week either. Or 3. He was at 3 last week, wasn't he?
No, it was at 4.
He was at 4.
Yeah, because...
That's kind of familiar, huh?
Yeah.
I've been trying to sing with that much smoke.
I've done it before.
I know.
Oh my goodness, it's worse.
That's 50%. So do you agree with what Jimmy Iovine said about most of them?
What was the one that I didn't agree with?
I'm not sure. That's all I'm asking.
Oh, Amber.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I didn't think.
I think she was the weakest girl yesterday.
Yeah.
That's definitely.
But he said she was in his top 3, I think.
Yeah, I didn't quite get that. I didn't quite get what he was saying about Angie Miller making it dramatic. That song is a dramatic song.
I didn't think she ever did it last night. I do think that
done it in the past.
She has, yeah.
Yeah, I think she's doing better with it, though.
And
I think the same way with Paul. I think he's getting better with the dramatic thing. So
or over-singing and not over-singing as well.
Yeah, somebody's working with him, trying to get him past that.
You didn't agree with him on Candace, though.
As being number 1?
Or being a natural, or...
No, I think she's natural. I just don't think she's number 1 now this week. He said she's number 1. Best performance on the night is what he said, so... I disagree with that.
So where do you have Cree in your lineup?
2.
Really?
Yeah.
And you have Candace 3?
Candace, like I said, Candace and Devin are kind of 3 and 4 for me. I can't tell which way I want to go with them.
Where do you have Janelle?
Not in the top 3.
Really?
Yeah. And the thing you mentioned about Devin being in the bottom 2 last week, that one of my theories was because he did a lot of Spanish stuff, he would get a lot of the Spanish voters, and I don't think that's happening.
Yeah. I think Well, I guess it was it last season? Scotty? No, 2 seasons ago was when Scotty won it. And what was the girl's name that was the runner up? I can't remember her name. But I think there's a strong country votes that both Janelle and Cree are going to get votes from.
Well, and Paul claims to be country, although I can't really...
I don't hear it. I don't see him going in that genre.
I know it's what he says, but it's not what I hear.
Pop country. Nah. No.
Yeah. No, you're right. I think that's going to be... that's going to hold Janelle and Cree in there.
So how long do you think they're working on this song?
I don't know. They actually, as a group, blend pretty well this year.
I think there are more singers than just the four of them in certain spots.
Yeah, I'm sure. So just a little bit of an update where we are. We're at the third commercial. Finally mentioned one of the bottom three, Paul Jolley. We both agree with that. So we've seen the guys do a little tribute there. And like I said, I think this year, even when they did the song last week, I think they all blended nicely together. So many years we get these things where they don't blend nicely together. They just don't work together well. I think this year we do a decent job at it. Either that, or they got somebody working with them a lot more.
That, or I think it also depends. Some of the singers play instruments, and usually that helps with hearing harmonies, being able to blend. Having that musicality.
Yeah, the whole time I'm watching that, I keep thinking that Burnell. Keep thinking Urkel. Can't get that out of my mind.
He does have a very unique voice.
It's a very unique tone, yeah.
I have trouble at times connecting with him. I think he's somewhat awkward, and maybe some of that is his look, and I know he's kind of trying to stay, but I still think he has trouble connecting with the songs. And as far as being a good performer, I think he has a very good and unique voice. Talent is there,
so they need to have somebody come in and work with him on that.
From the
bring that level up a little bit.
Stage presence, performing side of it, that's where I think he needs to grow a little more to be better. So what do you think of the judges this year?
I mentioned that earlier. Mariah Carey, she gives no constructive criticism, I think, to them.
Yeah, so, I don't really find her comments all that meaningful. They're more like...
you're pretty. Like your clothes.
Or it was kind of what Jimmy Iovine was talking about earlier. Like, the judges, they need to not just be coddly or whatever. He has a very unique voice.
Yeah, I like that.
I thought he should have gone further than he did the year that he was on.
I don't know about the bun, though.
The long hair, no.
So you were asking before about what I thought about the judges this year. And I gave you an opinion kind of on Mariah Carey. Keith, I think, gives pretty decent criticisms, and so does Randy. But Nikki, I just don't get where she's coming from. I mean, okay, so maybe some of her comments make sense, but till she gets to that comment, whatever she puts in the beginning of it, it's just a little weird.
Yeah, she's a little wild card because you don't know what's going to come out of her mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
How many times was she beeped last night?
Twice.
Yeah.
But that was the first time I think they've ever bleeped her. But she said some pretty weird things, sometimes a little provocative type things and stuff before. So
yeah,
it's definitely the wild card. But I think after she gets past that, she typically has decent opinions.
She's not afraid to tell people if it wasn't good.
Right.
Where Mariah, I don't think I've heard.
She's never said anything bad about anybody.
Yeah. I
can't remember what she said last night about Lazaro, but it wasn't very critical,
Right. Of the two girls, if one goes and one stays, while her comments are a little out there, I think Nikki's probably better suited
I agree.
to keep on than Mariah.
So it's going to be a night of performances. 2 more people to perform yet?
Was Jessica and were they performing together?
I don't know. Neo, maybe she is.
I thought that's what
I got that impression by what he said, but
Ryan kind of.
when he first said that, I didn't get that impression. But what he just said just now, I got that impression that they're going to perform together. So.
I think you saw a little bit there of what Jimmy was talking about with Angie, and like the others were just kind of sitting there singing, and she was the one that was trying to.
So that made it sound like Jessica Sanchez and Neo. All right, so we got our bottom two now. What do you think about the bottom two?
I think Lazaro should be there instead of Devin.
I agree.
As far as who is going home, I mean, I'm thinking there's a girl going to be in the bottom three this week.
And which girl do you think?
I think it's Amber.
Think it's Amber?
I think Brunel is safe.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Brunel will be safe.
So, regardless of which girl it is, I think Paul Jolley should go home this week.
I agree. Absolutely agree.
Given that Lazaro is not in the bottom.
Something different this week. They're not telling you who the top three are. Well, they haven't yet. Last week they did that first.
Yeah.
And then went down the list.
Yeah. He hasn't mentioned if they're going to do that this week or not. So.
Right. We're over halfway through, so they got to start moving along fairly quickly soon. They got another song to go do for another performer, so it'll be performance probably and commercial.
The only person we know that is safe is Lazaro.
Right. And this would have been the week where he probably shouldn't be safe. He might not. I mean, as of yesterday's performance, he should be in the bottom. Mm-hmm. But I know I don't like calling it a pity vote, but that's what it is. I mean, I can't think of another name to call it.
There was I don't know, it was probably 5 or 6 seasons ago that there was another guy that wasn't that good but had a huge fan base out there and got a lot.
The Oriental one?
No, I don't think so.
I can't remember the Oriental guy's name. That was really bad. Jung, something like that. William Hung, or
no, he never made it to the top 10.
Oh, he didn't. I just remember he was popular for a while.
He was popular for they brought him back I think in the finale, but there was another one that kept getting votes, and other people got voted off before him, and I thought he should have been one of the first ones to go. So that's where sometimes leaving it up to America isn't always fair.
It's a long song too.
I mean, it's okay. I can't say it's a favorite, that I'd want to listen to it all the time. But I will say last season, when a lot of the songs that she chose, I felt made her older than her age. This felt more like her.
More like her age?
Age appropriate. Yeah.
Even dressing more like her age right now too. So, yeah.
Yep. So from that perspective, I liked it.
Yeah, they're running out of time. 15 minutes left to get everybody's. They only got the bottom two and one save. I
think next commercial they'll let everyone know and
because they got to sing for commercial and everything too. So.
If one of these two boys is singing for their life, I don't think the judges will use the save on them. If it's a girl, that
depends on which girl it is, probably.
Yeah. I think they would seriously consider it if it was a girl, because I don't think that any of the girls are worthy of going home at this point in the competition. In no particular order. Doesn't sound like they're giving it out tonight. Does it?
No, it doesn't.
I agree with that. I think it's Amber. Of the two that are left, I think Amber's in the bottom three. Called it.
You called it. That's right.
I think Amber should be the first one that's safe now.
So let's do a quick recap. We just figured out who the bottom three were. And the bottom three are Amber Holcomb, Devin Velez, and Paul Jolley. Everybody else is safe for this week. And they didn't tell us who the top three were. So my prediction, I can't tell if I predicted it right or not. So unless they come back later on and tell us, but we'll see. So
yeah, they did that for the X Factor. They did it at the end of the show. They did the ranking. That's kind of how they ended it, I thought.
Yeah, but last week they did top three first, and then worked their way down.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do that tonight or not.
Yeah, so I might not be able to tell you if I predicted it right or wrong. I'm hoping that Paul Jolley is the one that goes home.
Yeah.
Of course, I've been hoping that for a couple weeks, and he just keeps scooting through. So I just hope it's not Devin.
Yeah, I don't think he deserves. I think he has a good voice. He just needs to be worked with.
Right.
He has a very pure. His vocal is good. And this is a singing competition.
That's right.
So.
Well, it's singing but it's also a popularity competition. So.
My top three are Angie, then Candace, and then Janelle.
So you didn't like her yesterday?
Not as well as others.
The style of songs you did, maybe?
Yeah, I felt like... I mean, she still had the country sound to it, but I thought Janelle's... And it could have been the short...
when you're singing the Beatles.
Yeah, but Janelle's version of that did. Yeah. So that's why I was like... not that I thought Cree was bad, but I think that last week's was probably better, and maybe the week before. Yeah. I think she was under the weather. So I think that puts her down in my rankings some. I think it's going to come down to song choice on some of these weeks.
That's right. Well, that's almost always what it is.
Because it's tough. Like, a lot of the girls are good. There's one little thing that's off that could send them or sway a vote one way or another. So I think Jimmy's surprised that Amber's in the bottom three too, because he had her in the top three.
That's right, he did.
Guess they're not giving the order this week, except bottom three. Cree and Paul have the same colors.
All right, so we just saw who kicked off American Idol. Paul Jolley. Ain't so jolly at the moment, probably. So that was who I was hoping would go home. I don't think he belonged in the top 10, personally.
But he wasn't the worst last night. So
no, he wasn't the worst last night. No, I'm glad he went home, but he wasn't the worst.
He's been improving. Where I feel like Lazaro has kind of taken steps backwards.
Right, and even on his song before they're voting for him, he started out was in the lower register, and before the key change, it was sketchy. It got better when he went up a little bit in the key change. I think he's, has more energy up there. But even at the end, when he dropped the key back down again to the last piece of it, it was still, kind of shaky. Yeah. So, and that could have been just nerves and stuff like that too. Or
I know we're hard on him, but what he's accomplished with his speech and pen.
Oh, you mean talking about Lazaro? Mm-hmm. I'm talking about Paul. Paul's song right there. Before the key change, it was really shaky. He couldn't hold notes out when it was that low and stuff. Mm-hmm. Anybody that makes it to the top 10, they're all good. So it's not like any of them's bad. It's like which one is. But
at some point, you have to compare them to other vocals and vote for the best. So
that's right. So now we're down to 8. Then here's the thing: 2 guys are gone out of the 10, so that's only 3 guys left.
And next week, I think another guy should be gone.
Right. I think this is the year of the girls. Definitely think that.
I agree.
All right. So you probably want to get going and go watch your best.
I do. There's a game on that's very interesting to me at the start of the second half. So.
All right. Well, then I'll let you go. I'm going to hang out here and see if anybody shows up for the comments in the Hangout.
All right.
So, And if nobody does, I'm not going to hang out too long to see who shows up and who doesn't. So, we just finished American Idol. We saw Paul Jolley get sent home this week. Our bottom 3 this week, which I don't necessarily agree with, was Amber Holcomb, Devin Velez, and Paul Jolley. I definitely think Paul Jolley should have been there. I don't think Devin should have been there, and Amber probably was the right person to be there for the girls. But of all the performances last night, Lazaro was the worst. So he should have been in the bottom 3. And he's been not doing so good the last 2 weeks. Hopefully they figure out what's going on there and can educate him to get him back up. So if you're listening live, either on Ustream or Justin.tv or any of the other streams that we have going, I encourage you to go to Google and search for the Hangout called Idol Fancast and join the Hangout, and we can get you on the air and we'll talk with you about your opinions on tonight. If you don't want to actually talk or be seen, what you can do is you can go to the chat room by going to tech-zen.tv and clicking on live and chat. If you are on Justin TV, or if you are watching the stream in any of the other streaming services like Livestream or Ustream, there are chat rooms in some of those, and we do not use those chat rooms. So if you're in there trying to get us to try and talk to us, we're not going to be able to. I'm sorry. I'm working on, one of them I got turned off. The chat room's turned off, so I can't remember which one it was. But the other ones have chat rooms in them as well, so we just haven't figured out how to disable them. But we do not use the built-in chat rooms into the streaming services. So if you're there trying to talk to us, I'm sorry, we're not going to get that. But like I said, you can come to the chat room at tech-zen.tv and then click on live at the top and say chat. Or the better way to do it is just to go look for the Google Hangout called Idol Fancast, and you can connect right up to us, and we can bring you right on the air, and we can have up to 9 people on with us, and we can all talk about what you want to say. Get your opinion on who you think should have gone home. Did your favorite go home, or is your favorite safe for the week? That type of thing. And we do this every Thursday night. We start about a half hour before the show. We typically are streaming by then. We don't always hit the record button for a little bit later than that. But we recap the previous night's show and comment throughout the live show if you want to stay on the stream with us. And then after the live show, we go into this mode like we are right now, where we invite people in and to talk with us. But this show is only 3 weeks old, and as we are getting more downloads, I don't know how we're doing as far as the live stream goes. I encourage everybody to come help us build this community, because it's a brand new show for us, and it's still, we're trying to get the traction going for this show. Now, if you're watching this after the show and you're just hearing me standing here babbling, trying to keep the line open kind of for people to come in and chat with us. The other thing you probably have noticed, this show is not 2 hours long like it should be if we recorded it straight from beginning to end, which we do. I said do. Squirrel. Anyways, after the show's over, I edit out all the blank stuff and some of the miscellaneous comment stuff in between. So it just shortens it down. There's no reason to have all that stuff. We typically try to be a little bit quiet during the show. We do comment some, but our goal is there if you wanted to just stay on with us and bring up a Google Hangout on your laptop, you're sitting on the couch, or listen to us live or watch us live. You could do both, watch the show and be live without us affecting you watching your show. So that's our goal. So I'm going to give it another a couple of minutes yet, and if nobody comes into the chat room or into the Hangout, I'm going to go ahead and stop the show. And so I'm just kind of filling in with some discussion here. I am going to close down the show. Let's do a real quick recap here. We are on week 3 of the live voting, and tonight we lost another boy. So now we're down 2 boys. We lost Paul Jolley. In the bottom 3 this week were Amber Holcomb, Devin Velez and Paul Jolley. Not in the bottom three, which probably should have been based on performances of yesterday, was Lazaro. And he was in the safe range this week. Amber had a not so good week, and they think they probably know why. Hopefully, they fix that for next week. We'll be able to determine that if this didn't throw off her game. And Devin is my favorite boy, so him being in the bottom three is a concern for me. But hopefully work with him. They say that he's not connecting, and that obviously something's not working right because he's in the bottom three yet again. So that was it for our third week. We are now down to 10 contestants. And as I've mentioned during this show for the last few weeks, I think this is the year of the girls. And I think this is proving that because so far, the only people that have been eliminated out of the top 10 are boys. And I have a feeling next week's going to be a boy as well because the girls are just that good this year. And we will find out next week. I don't know. They did not say, I didn't remember them saying what the theme is next week, but that seems like it can confuse and mess up people because they get into a genre they're not familiar with. The judges did decide not to use the save on Paul Jolley, and I definitely agree with that. As if you've been watching and or listening to the show, I don't think Paul Jolley should have gotten to the top 10. I don't think he was that good to go to the top 10. Those other boys I think were better than him, but he made it to the top 10. And let me just say this. This is now a point of who didn't do as good because they're all really good. I mean, Paul Jolley he's not horrible. He's just not as good. Now, I will say, and this could have been emotional, the song he sang for the judges for the save, when it was starting out, before the key change up, he was having a problem holding out notes in the low register that he was singing. So when he got up to the next key up, he could have a little more power in his voice. So that could have all been nerves, though. That could have all been nerves. So that's it for week number 3. It's actually technically episode number 4 because our very first week we did the top 20 down to the top 10, and now we're down to the top 8. So this is technically our 4th episode, but the first episode was kind of an experiment. We just decided it's out there, but it was for us to work out the technical kinks with the Google Hangouts, which we seem to have worked through the Google Hangout kinks. There's a constant tweaking with it, though, so it'll be continuing with the tweaking as we go down the next few weeks. I'm Mike Myers, and previously in the show, we had my wife, Michelle Myers. She is off watching basketball now because she is the sports person in the family, not me. All right, everyone, we'll see you next week on Idol Fancast.